guys, it's Will from Tested.
And it's Norm from Tested.
Norm, in my left hand, I'm holding this guy right here.
It looks like a pack of gum.
It's a little bit bigger and infrared-ier than that. It's the Leap Motion.
Okay.
It's a USB controller, and it's designed to kind of give you interaction with your computers. It is somewhere between a touchscreen and a typical mouse.
Wow, so not a keyboard, not an actual touchscreen.
Not an actual touchscreen.
But a motion controller.
It is almost Kinect-y, except for this is all fingers, so there's no body motion or anything like that. It goes in front of your computer, just right there.
Because Kinect is much bigger.
Kinect is bigger and it aims forward, so it's picking up the room.
And it looks at you this way.
Yes.
This you put on flat on table.
This gives you like a conical shape up from the sensor.
So what type of sensors are there?
It's infrared sensors. We've talked about the old U-Force, which was one of the worst Nintendo peripherals of all time on the podcast before. It uses something similar to that, but it's obviously much more complicated.
Infrared, that's like what the Wii sensor bar uses.
So the Wii sensor bar is a little different. There's a camera in the front of the controller. It looks at two lights on either side of the sensor bar. That just gives it a point of reference for the room.
Point at you.
Yeah, so what this does is actually shoots light up, and then there's cameras in there that detect where it bounces. So it can say, oh, my hands are 1.5 feet off of the surface of the desk, and I'm moving forwards and back in space.
It's really small. I mean, I see 3 infrared emitters in there. You can see in the
you can kind of see them. Probably see them better on camera than you can in real life, actually.
So what makes this better than something like the U-Force or
my hunch is that they have a lot of software processing power.
So it's mostly done
this
on the computer side.
That's unclear. There's you can put it in low resource mode. It seems to use a fair amount of CPU when you're using it, but most of the stuff that you use is also kind of graphically intensive, like games and stuff like that. So it's difficult to say whether the CPU usage is Leap Motion or games.
From people's experience, they've said it takes anywhere between 5% to 20% of your CPU, depending on your settings.
On my big hexa-core PC at home, I didn't notice any difference in performance because I have extra cores to spare. On a dual-core laptop, it makes my MacBook Air a little slow.
So it is processor dependent.
Seems like it's processor dependent. You can put it into a low CPU usage mode, but that dramatically decreased its accuracy. We can show that in a minute.
Yes.
So I'm going to start at the very beginning with the orientation. What we're seeing here on screen is the Airspace Home. So this is, you install a driver for this. It gives this loading screen, and it's basically the list of Leap Motion compatible apps that you have. So this is
an app that runs in the background that has a driver, and it not only is a front end for launching apps, but it's a storefront.
It is. The storefront's all web-based. It's a little weird. So you buy stuff on the App Store, download free stuff from the App Store, from their App Store, and then it launches inside this Airspace thing. Even though in some cases what you're doing is just launching a normal Windows app.
So this is the very first initial setup.
This is the initial calibration. This is where they teach you how to use it. I don't know what these red lines are. They don't usually happen. So this is telling you, oh, okay, look, I'm moving my hand back and forth across the front, and that's what it sees. I can go up.
So like I said earlier, it's like even though it's a rectangle, it's more like a conical area volume.
It emanates out. You'll see in a sec. It'll give us my head got in the way. It'll give me the 3D vision of that in a sec, and you'll see kind of, so like there's the hand. It's coming in. It's going deeper, and I can reach way beyond where I have the screen. And then the space goes up really high. So like this is about a foot above my head, maybe 6 inches above my head.
It's about 3 feet above the Leap Motion.
Yeah. But in reality, the place that you use most of your touching is like right in like a square. It's almost like the strike zone.
Now
if you're playing baseball.
The demo here it's very nebulous as to what it's actually detecting. It's kind of like grouping a lot of data points.
So the next one, I think, there's no good controls for a lot of this stuff. You just have to wait. So I apologize in advance. Okay. The next one, here we go. I'm moving my hand across the device.
I'll tell you.
Gives me a skeleton view, a skeletal view of my hand, which is higher resolution. Oh,
there it goes.
Here we go. Okay, yeah. So there's my hand. You can see I have all 4 fingers now. If I move fingers together, then terrifying things happen, and pretty soon I have like.
And not only does it recognize your fingers, it kind of can extrapolate the joints in your fingers. It looks like.
Well, it knows because of the way my fingers move, because of the way everybody's fingers move.
Human anatomy.
The joints are a specific way, so it can say, okay, if the tip is getting closer, something's happening. Is the whole finger getting closer or not? Now, I'm going to go ahead and say in advance. The studio environment with the weird lights around is probably not the best use for this. Anytime you have overhead lighting, like it's seeing my head there, that big round thing in the middle.
Doesn't think it's a, what is that shape of?
It's, who knows? It's like weird head, but it can see all 10 fingers. Now if you have overhead lights, it's going to have problems because it uses IR, and that's going to interfere with it. If you have even the metal ducts on our ceilings caused problems when I was over by my desk.
So this is the IR bouncing off the metal ducts and then
reflecting everywhere.
So what lighting conditions work best?
A dark room with nothing overhead.
What about the screen in front of you?
The screen in front of you didn't really affect it at all because they're mostly cold cathodes and they're not real
Does this work
IR
in daylight?
I haven't taken it outside. It's something. The way it works, once you place the sensor in front of you, you kind of don't want to move it because it messes up with the calibration for the whole thing. You have to recalibrate it. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass.
Is there any auto calibrations that knows like whether it's a skew or?
It's pretty good. Like if you get a smudgy fingerprint on it, it'll pop up and say, hey, there's a smudge on the screen. You should probably wipe that off. It'll interfere with your performance.
So if someone's using this, then it's ideal that they Velcro it to their table so it doesn't move around.
I would say stick it on the table in a place that you're not going to use it. You're not going to carry this around with you and use it in like Starbucks with your laptop or something like that.
What happens if you put it like against, perpendicular against you and not flat on the table?
Then nothing works because it expects for you to go past its plane. So it basically, we'll get to this in a sec, but the way most of the touch interface stuff works is there's like a hover plane, and then when you cross through that into a touch plane, then it acts like a mouse click.
So it only works up and down.
You have to have space between you. You don't want to put it right up against the monitor. You don't want to put it right up against the edge of the table. The big problem that I've had is that because it's IR, it can't pass through you. So when you do something like rotate your hand, let me get it so you can see, then digits just disappear and then they come back. It also isn't real smart about picking up like multiple, like when fingers attach to each other, when you hold them next to each other.
No claws.
If you hold all 4 fingers next to each other, it just sees like lobster claws basically.
But really, what are you going to use the 5 fingers for?
A lot of the gestures and stuff use 5 fingers. You kind of want to use multiple fingers to zoom and things like that. We'll get to that in a sec. I gotta keep going through this demo, unfortunately.
You can't quit.
And it's completely wigging out about the overhead stuff now.
So far, not so great.
It is. That's pretty indicative of the entire experience. Like the thing about it is, it's not terribly expensive. But it's $80. It's more than a novelty should cost.
Yeah, $80 is an Xbox controller, is a game and 2 games.
Yeah,
you can buy a lot of things for $80.
Your value proposition for this is pretty grim. Considering that
you're drawing now.
Yeah. So the way this works is, look, we're in the hover zone. Well, nope, that's the hover zone right there. It's a real narrow hover zone for this particular drawing demo.
So there's a different threshold for when it recognizes where your finger is, and also when it activates the draw.
Yeah, you can see the circle going to a dot. When the circle closes, it's a draw. But tell me something to draw.
Draw a box, a cube.
Wow. Okay, I can probably actually draw a cube.
Well.
And the first one went away.
It's like watching a child work on an iPad.
You're not making. It's not good for anyone. I regret that immediately. Let's go on to the next bit. Here we go. I think this is the end of it. I can't remember if there's anything else.
So once you're done with the orientation and it's calibrated,
yes.
Do you have to recalibrate every time it gets
If you move the sensor, if you have weird lighting in the room, if you have like weird overhead lights or something like that, then you're kind of want to recalibrate.
If you go through that process every time?
No. The calibration process is different. I can show you that now. So there's a little TSR that runs in your tray.
There it goes.
I'm going to go to settings. No, damnation. That's not it. I got the visualizer. I'm sorry. I'm using a Surface for this, so I'm using the touchscreen. Maybe a mouse would have been a good move here.
And this is something that runs in the system tray.
It runs pretty much always. So you can recalibrate the device. Yeah. And
so it says it's running in like a robust mode. What does that mean?
Robust mode is I believe has to do with the lighting situation. So you can choose over here which of the modes you want to use with tracking, whether you want to do balance, precision, or
tracking
high speed.
Priority.
I don't understand why that stuff's grayed out. I've never seen it not grayed out. You can also turn it to low resource mode if you're operating on a slower machine,
Can you pull up the system, the processes and the CPU load and see how that changes?
But I don't think I can show it on this screen because it's too small. The resolution's too low. But you can, and also it's going to show up as a system, so as a system framework down here somewhere. So
it shows airspace working.
But the airspace is not that's just the launcher. It doesn't actually do any processing. Okay, so here we go. Leap motion service is 20% CPU.
Wow, that's a lot.
Just sitting here doing nothing. Now this isn't a super fast machine, but it's a bit much.
But still.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of CPU processing.
I would not want to use this on a dual-core laptop on a day-to-day basis.
All right, okay, so here's a bunch of apps.
There are a bunch of apps. Most of the stuff that's out now is games. There's not a ton of productivity stuff. There's this touchless program for both Mac and Windows. There's also a piece of software for Mac called Better Touch Software, something like that.
So this isn't just going to automatically work with your normal Windows programs?
No, it doesn't show up as a mouse. You're going to need more. You need more control over that. Let's do some games and stuff first, because that's, I think,
easy to understand.
It's where you're going to get the interesting stuff at this point.
Sure.
Because the touch stuff is not very good. This is just a simple, it's like a flock simulator. And when you put your fingers in here, I think the fish are attracted to the food.
This looks almost like it's a variant of that orientation demo.
It is.
With your 5 fingers and
all the cool stuff in this has nothing to do with the controls. You know, the cool stuff in this is the flocking behavior of the fish. Nothing else really. Like there's a lot of stuff that's like this in the store right now. I'm going to close this because it's boring.
That's not a great app.
No, it is not a great app. Cut the Rope I would show, except for since this has a touchscreen.
Everyone loves Cut the Rope.
The touchscreen seems to take priority.
Oh no.
So I can't use the Leap motion with the touchscreen at the same time.
To Cut the Rope's better with the touchscreen, I presume, than
absolutely
with the space.
Couldn't agree more. But
how are your arms feeling?
They're pretty good so far. I'm not tired yet. I'm feeling okay.
I mean, the Minority Report hands-up interface, orchestrating UI, that gets tiring after how long?
So I have never used this for more than 20 minutes at a time, mainly because it gets boring. There's not really that much compelling stuff to do.
It gets boring before it gets tired.
Before you get tired, yeah.
Being tired, physically being tired is not a concern because
there's nothing to use it for. But we'll get to that, and we'll be more critical here in a minute. This is another one of the tech demos. I mean, there's a lot of kind of pretty stuff. This lets you actually show grabbing. I don't know if I can do it because the lights overhead are kind of janky.
Yep.
See, you can see the cursor is bouncing up. Maybe just be grabbing my head.
That's an exercise in patience.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of
grab that light.
Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay. Yay! Hugely accomplished.
It really looks like some type of physical rehabilitation
you can see,
that you're going through right now.
Yeah, you can see I'm holding my hand perfectly still. I close it, and the cursor moves. So like the model isn't that great, and it makes it really difficult to do anything that requires any kind of precision with this thing.
Why no Star Wars Force game?
I would assume
seems like a no-brainer.
Well, EA has the video game Star Wars licenses now, but yeah, like I could force choke the hell out of someone after using this thing for 20 minutes.
Force choke those flowers.
I'm exiting out of here because it's not real good.
Force push that moon.
I think I can force push the moon.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh. Yeah, it's. I can't grab it. I can't grab it.
Nope. All right. Quit out
I'm grabby. Okay. I'm going to resort to hitting the Windows key. Let's close this guy.
Is there any demo here that you consider a good use of the actual touch controls or the motion controls?
So Drop Chord is a Double Fine game. It's pretty good. It's better on this than anything else I've actually used. I'd be interested to see how well it runs on this laptop.
So you're saying this is better on
using the Leap motion
than with other controllers?
I think it's out on iPad. Using the multi-touch on iPad for the way this works isn't that great.
Right.
You start it by putting your fingers inside the 2 holes.
Of course.
Makes perfect sense. Is it not picking up the left finger? There we go.
And
there we go. The line. Oh no. What? This is terrible.
There
we go. Okay.
Activate.
So now my business stays on the outside of this circle, at least for the initial level.
You gotta create the
lines. It changes a little bit. You basically, there are things inside here, and you have to cross the line across the things. And in a moment, there will be things that I do not want to go across. We're kind of doing a disservice to this game. It is a music rhythm game, so by not playing the music, you're losing a lot of the value of the game.
It's a lot like Cut the Rope, or a lot like Fruit Ninja, except with vertices and
it's kind of like Audio Surf is the thing that I immediately thought of because I think the levels are tied into the music.
It's almost
I lost my multiplier. There's a bunch of this isn't the only kind of level in this game. This I actually did play for more than 20 minutes.
It's like puppeteering.
Kind of, yeah. Like a puppeteering game would be pretty cool with this. I would totally play that.
Right? It's like your fingers are moving the strings and something happens.
And the thing to avoid moves after a while. Like this is a game you might actually want to play.
So 20 minutes of this, still not fatigued?
20 minutes of this, you're a little tired. Your arms are tired.
Where
I'm
your arms
floating my arms right now.
Can you keep your elbows down and just on the table?
No, because then the forearms get in the way of the sensor typically.
No, so you have
or
to have
the
your
sensor
elbows
is too close.
Up.
You have to have the elbows up. You're kind of floating. So if you look at how long can you hold your arms like this, Norm? Not out like that. Like this. It's a little easier.
All right.
You can tuck in.
You can tuck in. You don't have to.
You don't have to hold. You don't have to flap.
Okay. I'll do for the rest of this video.
You think you can do it for the rest of the video? Okay. So I'm just going to keep playing. That's it. This is the whole game. There's more levels further on. Still 20, 30 minutes is my limit on this. It's a hard limit. Let's bail out of this now.
All right. Still not tired. I
starting to feel the burn a little bit? Okay, do you want to see...
This is not fun.
Do you want to see painting?
Yeah. So
I haven't actually tried this before because this is Windows only and I've done most of my testing with this on the Mac.
And how does this work on the Mac?
There is no Corel Painter on the Mac. It's a Windows only program.
How does the Leap Motion itself work on the Mac?
It's the same. My Mac is slower. It's a dual core MacBook Air.
So I imagine
the performance
on a laptop,
impact is much greater.
On a laptop, because you have the distance between your keyboard and you put the Leap Motion in front of your keyboard and the screen is smaller, it's going to be a different experience than using a PC and putting it between a keyboard and monitor and potentially having a bigger monitor.
Well, so for playing games, there's no difference really because you're not trying to hit the keyboard and use the Leap Motion at the same time.
Just in terms of the spatial things, is there ideal screen size or distance?
With my 30-inch monitor, it's been great. When I put it in front of the 55-inch TV, it was practically useless.
Okay. So like on a coffee table...
you would never be able to use it on a coffee
big TV.
Table. It's not going to work.
Not gonna work. The spatial relationship between your fingers and where the
you're too far from the sensor. If you're sitting on a couch, you'd have to kneel on the coffee table above the sensor and kind of do this stuff. And you can't just set it on your lap or something like that because it's not that messes with the calibration.
All right.
So this is Corel Painter Freestyle Beta. It's free. And as you can see, I'm doing the thing where I'm in the hover zone now.
Can you adjust the hover zone to where the activation
I think
zone
you do that by moving the sensor, actually.
So you have to move the sensor closer.
I am not aware of a way to move that back and forth. I'm sure you probably can, but I have done that by moving the sensor. Okay. As you can see, if you get out of the hover zone even a little bit, things get bad. This is actually not bad. I hadn't spent a ton of time with this.
Masterpiece.
So. Yeah, look at me. I painted the world blue. You can change colors, and then you do kind of a hover, and the kind of hover to click is the. I think this is probably.
I don't see this being any easier than using a mouse.
I would much rather use a mouse.
Yeah.
That's a fair description of pretty much everything I've used with the Leap Motion. I'd rather be using a mouse or a touchscreen.
That Double Fine game is the only thing where the controls here are maybe better than using an alternative form of control.
Let me show you how the Windows Touch stuff works.
It integrates with Windows.
Yeah, it integrates with Windows. We're using Windows 8.1 here.
Okay.
So this should be, like if you have a big computer desktop at home and you want to use touch interface without buying a big giant touch monitor to replace the good monitor you already have, the pitch was you can use something like this.
Yeah. So launch the Windows app. And also it works with something like Google Earth?
Well? We can show Google Earth. I don't have Google Earth on here. We might have to cut and come back because you have to have Google Earth installed for it to work. I am going to do the getting started guide.
Okay.
Oh, nope. I don't want to go to MSN. Really don't like touch windows. Hard to believe. Okay, so this is the general guide to how to use it. It shows you the different kind of step through stuff. Hold on. I want to do the other one. I want to do the getting started guide. Sorry.
And again, this is something that runs in the background in Windows.
Yeah, this runs in the background. You know, it's not giving me on the Mac version of this, you have a whole walkthrough thing where it teaches you how to use it. Is this the getting started or is this the reference? I can't tell. I can't tell what I'm clicking on. All of these new interfaces are bad. Touch, float, getting started. There we go. Okay.
All right.
So this explains how you use the actual interface, and it's giving me the plane through which you can touch. And I've already turned it on, so you can see like that's a tap. This isn't. So I should be able to go down here
That looks much better than before. At least the circle is more prominent and has those dots that let you know how close you are to the plane.
Yep, and you can scroll by touching, grabbing. Now the problem here is that I'm a little low. I think I can recalibrate the touch thing for that. Okay, here we go. So here it explains the hover zone and the touch zone. I'm just gonna use my fingers for
it seems like
expediency's
when
sake.
you move your finger forward and move do that translation, you naturally dip down.
Is it that I dip down? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is me. Maybe the problem isn't this.
You got to move in a perfect.
You can use multiple fingers to scroll depending on which mode you're in. Part of the problem is that it seems to have a hard time detecting multiple.
Really, this is no Tom Cruise right now.
No, I'm not swiping and doing all sorts of weird
operatic music.
No, well, I don't have the things on my fingers, right? That's the problem.
Well, with this, you theoretically don't.
Well, here we go. So this tells you this is the hover mechanism. You can see it's, the circle works okay. This app is more or less the same on Mac and PC. The Better Touch Tools app on Mac, which is Mac only, is actually a little bit better. I still don't think I would actually use it.
So can you bring in the start menu or bring in the charms?
Oh, we're not even, come on. We're not to that point yet. I'm gonna skip through all this stuff. We should show the scrolling. So to scroll, you do finger movements.
And this is not configurable, like these gestures?
I think you can configure them if you want to get real. My experience with the configuration stuff, it made it worse. Like the default is actually the best experience, which is a kind of condemnation, I guess.
There you have your list of...
So you see, you don't have, there's no hit the home button, but we do have a home button here, so I can, theoretically, where are we?
It's click, scrolling, dragging.
Oh, it's in tutorial
mode. Right menu.
Still. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put it in basic mode.
Okay.
Because advanced was unusable. Oh. Just to be clear, that's the touch. Okay, we're in basic mode. Good.
All right.
Right? Am I seeing it? There we go. Okay, so I can go over here, and if I can get to the lower right extremity,
there you go.
Then I can scroll and stuff like that.
Well,
so I'm Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Wait, a bunch of stuff just happened that I didn't want to happen.
Let's go into a gallery, and then you can.
Oh no, I don't want to watch
Skype.
Okay, so I can go down here to the lower right-hand corner. I can hit the start button.
You have a start button.
Yeah, it's 8.1. This wouldn't have worked in Windows 8.0. Okay, click. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Oh no.
Now you've opened the People app.
Yeah, this happens. Thanks, Norm.
That was much easier.
Yeah, anything but this is easier. This is one of those things you're gonna buy and you're gonna use it for 15 minutes and then you're gonna be like, why the hell did I spend money on this? It's really not. Nothing about it is easier than using a mouse, even the worst trackpad. Look, I just launched something else. I don't even know what this app is. Or anything else.
Sports.
Don't buy the Leap Motion until maybe there'll be games for it at some point. Dropcord is promising.
Are people doing interesting things on the developer community with it?
I have no idea. The apps have not changed. Well, let's go to the App Store. I'll show you. So the App Store, I've seen very few new releases over the 2 or 3 weeks that we've had this thing. A lot of the stuff is paid, even things that are listed in the experimental section. I did not. After spending the $80,
because it looks like it could be a pretty cool theremin.
Yeah, there's an Air Theremin. I think it's $4. Would you pay $4 for an Air Theremin?
Nah, it's $84.
Let's take a quick break and we'll open up Google Earth and I want to show that because it is actually pretty cool. Okay, so this is Google Earth. You've seen it before.
Yep,
it is a familiar piece of software.
Not Google Maps.
Not Google Maps.
The actual desktop application.
This is the thing that when you read Snow Crash and they were talking about the whole interactive world, you could go in and zoom in on it. Yeah. That's this, except for it's not live.
And also it has its native support for Leap Motion.
It's not native. It actually shows up as a controller. Leap Motion has native support for it, not the other way around.
So you don't have to download a special version of Google Earth.
No, it's just update to the latest version. You should be good to go.
Just click the enable the alternative controls.
Just enable controller, yeah, and it's there.
All right.
So the way this works is you put your hand over the sensor, and then you have to kind of figure out where you are. So I'm going to zoom in.
So it's your whole hand right now.
My whole hand.
And you got to have these small motions.
And it's a tiny motion. I got the whole world in my hands, Norm.
Because you can basically in Google Earth zoom all the way in. Let's give you a challenge. Zoom in on where we are.
Okay.
All right.
Oh wait, hold on. I got to tilt up.
Oh no. Do you feel like you're flying?
Kind of, yeah. If I was wearing the Oculus right now, this would be pretty rad, except for I wouldn't be able to tell where my hand is.
Then you look straight out of Lawnmower Man.
Look, here we are. Oh, I'm zooming in.
Not bad.
I'm zooming in.
Twist it.
Oh, what the hell do you want, man? Okay, well, we gotta wait for it to load in.
It's all streaming.
Peaks. Hold on, we're over here somewhere.
All right.
We're under the freeway. That's the Hall of Justice. There we are, right there.
Get closer, get closer.
Wait, hold on. Is that us? No. Nope, I'm off. I'm off a couple of blocks. No, I'm not. It's right here.
To the left.
One block? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, over here. There we go.
Oh, almost.
Look up and wave, Norm. I should turn on 3D maps.
Yeah, you should. That would be very cool.
Let me turn on 3D maps. .3D buildings.
Bam! Whoa! Now you can fly through San Francisco.
I mean, this feels very like use the 4C. You can kind of fly around. You can swoop and zoom. It's a little hard to control.
Can you do the Superman, the Christopher Reeve?
I don't think I can do two hands. I think that would be real bad.
He did one hand.
Oh, he did one hand? Okay, well, let me try. Look at me, I'm going backwards in time. Don't die, Lois Lane, don't die.
Save the bridges, don't collapse in that car.
Oh, my chair's stuck on wires back here. This was the hardest thing to learn how to control because there were no real instructions. Give me another place to go. Challenge my geography and my leap motion navigation.
Giza Plaza.
Giza Plaza in Egypt?
In Egypt.
Okay, that's over here somewhere.
Okay. We're on the World Cup in San Diego.
This would be a great...
You too could win a trip.
Okay, Egypt is over there, right?
India.
Do they send people to India, really? Where's Giza Plaza? Is where the pyramids are?
Let's go to Cairo, downtown Cairo.
Okay. It's in the news. I think it's over here somewhere. I saw it a minute ago and then I zoomed in too far.
It seems like the control's working.
It's real twitchy. I could put it in front of you if you want to try it.
I've done this before.
Okay. It's fun putting somebody new on here and then watching them figure it out kind of on their own. Your arm gets real tired.
It's very subtle movements.
So you used this for a while. How long did it take before your arm got tired? You're in better shape than I am.
Again, about 15 minutes.
Yeah, was it tired or bored?
Tired. Learning this was tiring.
Yeah.
Because this is actually very subtle movements as opposed
to... incredibly precise.
As opposed to big gestures.
Yeah. So that's Google Earth. It's probably the best thing you can do with the Leap Motion right now, but it's definitely... Drop Chord's pretty good.
Drop Chord's the best experience you can get with Leap Motion right now, then there needs to be much better, either more creative apps using or implementations of Leap Motion, because the accuracy and just all the bugs that are with it right now, it's just not worth it.
I mean, the one thing I will say is that the software has already dramatically improved since we first got it.
There have been a couple patches.
There have been a couple of updates. The most recent one made it much easier to control and helped it deal with room issues much better. It's still not worth $80. I mean, Drop Chord's okay, but don't spend $80 on this.
Not a mainstream device at all.
No.
Not even a real enthusiast device. If you're a developer, then maybe, but you know what? I don't know if people are actually going to buy apps.
If you're building touch-based apps for iPhone or whatever, then it may be easy to port over to this. As it is, just stay away.
Don't buy it.
It's bad news.
I thought it was going to be a mixed bag. It turns out, it's just a bag of crap. Set on fire.
We'll see you guys next time on Tested. Bye. This is very Fantasia. Wow. That one was good. It looked like the poop exploded out of the bag.
Yeah. No, it didn't work at all.
That was bad.